Armor.
Armor.
Armor. We're talking about armor today.
Yes.
So, it's interesting in that we're not going to talk about the history of armor. We're going to talk about our armor solutions that you and I are using.
Yep.
And people would ask, why would you guys need armor solutions? Well, the honest truth is because it's interesting to put this kind of gear through a practical test at the kind of matches that we shoot at.
Yeah.
Two-gun action challenge match, Desert Brutality. We've long had this standing tradition of an armored division in which it requires front and rear rifle plates. At Desert Brutality, we had Armor Plus P, which required a helmet, as well as you had to carry all of your ammunition and gear for the entire match throughout the duration of the match. Kind of a mix of trooper and armor together. But what this does is it provides an opportunity at matches that sometimes would not put an emphasis on practical gear back into practical gear, meaning guys like military law enforcement, dudes that would normally not bring their armor to the match because of the liability that it is.
Yeah, because you're going to turn into a grease stain if you're wearing rifle plates and competing against people who aren't wearing rifle plates.
So that encourages them to bring their real world kit out and actually put it to the test. It also gives us an opportunity as curious individuals to be curious about what is the effect of wearing this stuff.
Yeah.
And are some solutions better than others?
If you want to understand military use of firearms, well, pretty much all that stuff is being done over body armor now.
Yep.
So.
And helmets back in World War II, and you've seen us wear helmets from World War II, both German and American and others. And boy, that's a lesson in and of itself.
Yeah.
That stuff's awful.
Yeah.
So in that regard, you and I both have some armor solutions that we're pretty happy with for different reasons, and this is the one that I have standardized on after a lot of stuff that I didn't like before.
Okay.
If you watched the Red October match from the last one, Red October 2, 2017, I ran that thing in legitimate Russian body armor, which was a combination of plates and Kevlar because the plates were not standalone. Okay, first of all, Kevlar's hot.
Yeah.
Kevlar's heavy. Kevlar does not breathe. When you sweat into Kevlar, you just do not cool off.
Yeah.
It also is bulky, and you kind of got this mass thing going on. And then the plates themselves, being Russian, must have been made out of depleted uranium because they weighed far too much for the amount of ballistic protection they actually provide. They were actually shaped nicely, but man, they suck to wear, and they absolutely affected my ability to shoot because the load-bearing vest, along with the weight gives you fatigue, but the vest matters incredibly as you're jumping in and out of a trench or running and you stop. If all of that mass on your body swings like a pendulum every time you stop, you can see it in video. I stop and I go like that because the mass shifts, and it's because the load-bearing vest isn't situated and ergonomic enough that it doesn't prevent that from happening.
Right.
So reducing the weight and having a good load-bearing vest is absolutely essential to having as comfortable an armor experience as one could possibly have.
Now, historically, we know that the best way to get good kit is to have the Russians design it, and then the Finns make it good. And that's what we have here.
Kind of, yes. So this is a variant of what they call the M13. It was called Varsadog. I'm pronouncing it wrong. It was a Finnish company. In 2017, it was bought by a Belgian company whose name is even harder to pronounce. I'll provide you a link. Varasteleka happens to sell this particular load-bearing vest. That isn't the reason I bought it. I didn't buy it because Varasteleka sells it. I bought it because we were visiting them.
Yep.
And guys we met there had used these in very practical environments, including in combat. And their appreciation for this particular load-bearing vest was huge.
Yeah.
They said, wow, this is the best load-bearing vest I have personally gotten to use. And we actually got to put on a few of these really sweat-stained.
And I think you then at that point refused to take it off.
The minute I put it on,
just going home with me.
The minute I put it on, I immediately felt how it sounds corny, but I felt the way it rode on my body and some of the features that it provided, and I immediately wanted this load-bearing vest. It clearly was the best I had personally worn so far, and I wanted it. So I took a load-bearing vest home. I do have ceramic plates in here that are standalone, level 4. They're 6 pounds a piece. There are lighter on the market now, but they're certainly a lot lighter than those Russian plates.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk a little bit about this. Varasteleka is still selling this load-bearing vest, even though it is now Belgian-owned, and it has some features that are really interesting. And then we're going to get to yours.
Yep.
What's really interesting here is now you might notice there's a zipper here.
Yeah, that's like the coolest part of this whole thing.
Well, zippers aren't maybe the best answer. There's also a Velcro backing here. But what's really neat about this is you pull this zipper up, and this entire plate comes up, well, not plate, this entire piece panel comes off, and you could actually change your loadout with just different panels. I've got 2 different panels for this. So this one, as you can see, is configured for AK, but I could have one that's also configured AR, and instead of having to take off all my load-bearing stuff, all I do is unzip,
AR-AK is a bad example because you can just swap the mags. What you could do is have one configured for submachine gun with a couple of those Lage drum carriers. You could have
that's a better example.
One configured for a 308 rifle with 308 size mag pouches. If you are in a legit military situation, you could have one of these configured to hold something like a 100-round PKM box.
Funny,
on a
we've seen
panel.
pictures of that, in fact.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, good point. That's a more logical transition than AR, AK, because you could use the same taco pouches. But you unzip here, the Velcro backing holds this securely. It absolutely does not
Right.
move. This whole panel comes off, whoop, new panel goes on, plop, zippers, clunk, and you're good to go.
Right.
Now, there are others that have done this too.
Sure.
This was quite elegant, and it is extremely stable. I'm going to go ahead and say that.
And I'm sure you're going to get to this, but the back does the same thing.
The back does this as well. I wasn't going to get there yet, but I will go since you started it. I happen to have a day pack, which is sold as an additional accessory for this particular load bearing vest. But it is, again, zipper here, Velcro on the back. And what I now have is a day pack. And there's some clever stuff going on here with these straps. As you can see, you tighten them down very tight. And whatever you have in the load bearing pack, your
Doesn't
day
rattle
pack,
around.
doesn't shift. And this is what I was talking about earlier, when you run and stop and the whole thing goes, if you can get this stuff strapped down tight enough, then guess what? This has less likelihood of shifting under weight and movement when you're doing things fast and dynamic.
Right.
As well as you can easily, you just open them up, kind of undo it just a little bit. They're really cleverly done in that they just go right into the molly, like this.
Yep. They're these cool little flat hooks.
And then the zipper opens up, and then, oh, extra ammo. Or you could put actually a water bladder in here. And in fact, there's spots here to bring out either antennas for like radio equipment, or to bring out your hydration tube, left or right side. Velcro pouches for that. You can zip it all up,
So-
reattach this little doodle to the molly, and then just tighten it down.
The downside to this is it's not a very big pack. You're not fitting all that much in there. The upside to it is it basically becomes organic to the plate carrier.
Right, it's just there. Now, there is a detriment here as well in that it is organic to the plate carrier. It is held on with zippers and Velcro. So when I've already started trying to use this in trooper type environments. By the way, this is the armor I'm going to be using at Hard as Hell 2 Gun that's coming up in May.
Okay.
There is one downside in that all of my ammo and everything, remember, trooper, you have to carry everything for the entire match. It's all in this pack, which is attached to my armor, which is on me.
Kind of have to take the armor off to access it.
I shoot stages 1 and 2. I now need to replenish the ammunition in my magazine. I have to take my entire load-bearing vest off.
Or you just find someone who's willing to
get
help
to
you
this-
access your stuff.
Or I buddy system it
Yeah.
and go,
Help.
and they open it, unzip it, give me 2 boxes of, but I either have to buddy system or take this entire thing off to get to whatever's in the pack.
Right.
Other stuff that's really cool about this plate carriers is there's a Velcro backing, which you can't really see that well on camera, but these are just like little cooling pads which go on with Velcro. They actually have cushions you can also put on the side, which actually kind of offset the armor from your body, which makes it bulkier. But I'm going to say it actually has a lot of merit, especially when it gets hot. And the reason that's good is you have a pad here and a pad here, so you have a pad on the left and a pad on the right. But what you have in the middle is nothing touching you.
Airflow.
You actually have a gap. It's literally airflow.
Yeah.
So when the air hits you and it flows in and out, it actually helps with the cooling.
Yeah.
So when it gets particularly hot, I'm going to go ahead and replace these with the pads. Right now it's okay, but in the summer I'm going to put those pads on and you get a little bit more ventilation. Of course, a traditional cummerbund. You could put other stuff in here. You could even put side plates if you really wanted to. It's got the ability to handle side plates. And what is most impressive to me is once you put this on, how stable it is on your body.
And by the way, you've got some elements like the pads here that can be removed. You can just take those off because they're not functional.
Velcro noise, here we go. But if you don't want that cushioning, you could reduce the mass of this by just taking it off, and then you adjust these straps, which are lightweight but durable material, to make them whatever length you need them to be for your particular body type. I like the pads a lot. If you've never, I know the military and law enforcement guys have done this, but if you've never worn even 12 pounds of armor all day long, these little cushions,
They're nice.
they're kind of nice because it really starts to wear on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Now, this is the modernized M13, originally from a Finnish company, now owned by Belgium, a Belgian company. But really like it. You're going to see it in Hard as Hell 2 Gun. That said, Varasteleka looked at this, and we're going to get called shills for this, but that's not what it is. What happened was they came out to shoot Desert Brutality, and they brought their their take on the M13, which is really, they looked at this improved M13 and went, we want to do it differently.
Right. There's
And-
some things we think we can do better.
And you actually have one of their prototype versions.
Yeah,
here.
this is one of the ones they brought to use in the match, and I stole it from them and didn't give it back. And
Well, honestly, you actually bought it. But they sold you a prototype. Yeah.
yeah, so not on the market yet, but it's coming.
Yes.
What they wanted to do here was come up with a better way to have an interchangeable front panel than zippers.
We heard-
Because one, go ahead.
We heard from a lot of guys that these zippers broke in the field.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the things, just talking to Varstalika's gear designers, it's kind of cool. They have a lot of practical experience with the stuff that wouldn't necessarily occur to someone like me. Whether zippers break or not, you can't fix a zipper in the middle of nowhere. Buttons you can fix. Snaps you can sort of fix. Velcro doesn't really break in the first place. These hooks don't really break in the first place. So what they've done now is instead of having a zip-on thing, we have a Velcro. Again, the Velcro is there to stabilize it.
Those are called J hooks, I believe, correct?
Something like that.
S hooks or
J
J
hooks,
hooks or
G
something.
hooks.
There's some sort of hook that goes on the top.
And if I don't make it look.
Actually, oddly,
There we go.
they're the same hooks that are on the back
Yeah, they're the
of my
exact same
Daypack Versadon.
So this becomes my interchangeable panel. I actually have two. I have one that's got 5.56 pouches on it. I've got this one that the next 2-gun match I'm shooting a 308, so I stuck a color mismatched pair of 308 mag pouches on there. But this sits on this front Velcro panel.
Wait, hook and loop.
Sorry, hook and loop.
Hook and loop.
Yes, very important. I think
Velcro is a brand name.
Yes.
And you know what? There's actually a difference in quality of hook and loop.
Yeah, there
So
is.
some hook and loop is better than others.
So that allows me to change this out whenever I want.
Let me add something to that. It's actually a lot easier for you to change that panel out than it is mine.
Okay.
So mine, I have to take the zipper off, and then this whole Velcro comes off, and then it goes on, and I have to re-zipper it. You kind of have to play a little bit
Yeah,
of...
you have to get it lined up.
You have to
don't
play line up, and I've noticed, this is not a complaint, but the zippers occasionally kind of do this, which is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. But,
But it's annoying.
so what I think has happened here is this is a very elegant, it's actually a really neat design, but they've made it a little more Russian in terms of field repairability and durability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the back, they didn't really like this backpack system because it was too small. At least that's the complaint I remember hearing.
I heard two things, and I mentioned one of them right now. They're too small. They wanted to be able to carry more junk. I get that. More batteries if you're cooking a Yari.
Yeah.
But on top of that, there was also the complaint about the fact is you couldn't get to your own backpack without a buddy system or taking the actual load-bearing vest off. They fixed that.
So what they have on this instead is a pair of snap hooks, or what do you call these? Plastic
They're just hooks.
What do you call
Um, clips.
clips. Yeah.
Plastic clips.
On the back, and there is a backpack, which I don't have yet, that is you can actually carry it as a separate rucksack. Little small bag, a little bit larger than that.
So you can actually take this off and use it as a backpack without the load-bearing vest.
Right, or you can just snap it into these two hooks, and then it Velcros onto the back, hook and loops onto the back, and you basically have the same end result as that, but you can take it off by unsnapping this and ripping it off.
Right, we saw them do that. In fact, they demonstrated. They went like this and clip, and then they just kind of zip, and then they have the backpack. They can do their thing, and they can kind of, it's a little bit easier for someone to put it back on, but you can take it and then clip it back on. But the point is you can get to your pack without taking all of your load-bearing vest gear off.
Yeah, and it's easy to just remove the backpack if you don't want to have it on.
I would also say that these zippers actually add a little bit more mass and girth to the overall system.
Yeah, they
if you look at
definitely
this is quite a bit, you have similar size plates in here.
Yep, these
and,
are ceramic fours.
And your load-bearing vest is thinner as a result because this adds some mass and density, or should say overall girth.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, matters.
It does.
Everything you
It
put
adds
on,
up.
especially in armor, becomes more and more Michelin Man.
Yeah.
And then when you're trying to run, it sounds weird, but you're not aware of your own body size when you have this stuff on. And the smaller and more dense it is, the less like you are to hit a doorway when you're trying to run through or crawl under something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the one other element that they added, which is interesting, and they had a lot of dubious concerns about this. And apparently, they found at Desert Brutality is that it wasn't actually a problem. They have a tear-off med kit, IFAC, right here, hanging from the front of the front plate. So it's secured in place by this, unsnap that, and there's your med kit.
Yep.
And there was some question as to, and I should say, this is a panel that you can take out.
Yes, yes.
If you don't want it, you don't have to have it in there. But there was some concern about whether this would get in the way of going prone. You don't want to have like a hypodermic in there go through and stab you in the...
It's an IFAC codpiece.
Yeah,
but
basically.
But what's funny about it, so I give props to anyone that does this, and it was great to have the Finns out at the Desert Brutality match. And let me thank them again, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have had Desert Brutality.
Yeah.
But they were all testing out this prototype gear, and they wanted to find out what happened in a relatively practical environment. And so the best way to do that is to do the kind of stuff we're doing. Obviously, you're not going to just take it into combat.
Right.
That's a little bit harder thing to align, and you don't want to find out if something works or not in combat.
Right.
But by taking it into something like Desert Brutality, you're getting a pretty good idea about how durable it is.
Right.
And if some of these ideas, like that IFAC codpiece, is going to be in the way or not.
Right.
And
You'll find out.
Well, at the end of the match, Yari was like, oh, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
I do have a medical kit. I do not have it on my load-bearing vest. I actually have it on my pistol belt.
Right.
It's on my back. But similar idea. What's nice about this, though, is you can get to your own.
Yeah, and it doesn't get in the way. There's nothing else you would normally carry here.
You could theoretically put something else you needed there if you needed it.
Well, no, my point is normally the med kit takes up space somewhere on your gear where you might want something else, but you're not putting mags down here, you're not putting a radio down here.
Well, like if I was going to put a med kit here, I didn't want to diminish my loadout of 3 magazines.
Right.
I could put it in front, and now I've got pistol mags. I'm double stack taco here. If I were to not double stack taco, I could have a med kit on top of the pouches. But again, guess what? This is Michelin, man.
Yeah.
And if I put it here, guess what?
Then you can't get to the
Can't
mags.
get to this. Now I could put it on the side.
Yeah.
Okay, now on this side maybe. On the right side, because I'm right-handed, guess what? It's in the way of my pistol.
Yep.
Now if I have a pistol, a secondary, I have a hard time getting to this, and this is in the way. Frequently, guess what else is on here? Something else is probably going to need to be here. So there really isn't a great spot to put the med kit. So by lowering it onto a cod piece, they've taken it away from your really practical requirement area, your workspace, to use the term, and it's now out of the way, but it's still directly accessible. If I need my med kit on me when I'm loaded up the way I am with my pistol belt, again, buddy system, or I have to take off the pistol belt.
Yeah.
And if God forbid, I'm the one that's hurt, that may not be viable.
Yeah.
I would need someone else to take care of it.
Yeah.
And you don't. You can tear it right off. So I think they've taken the same concept. You can see that it's functionally, the goals are functionally identical. What they've done is tried to make it more in line with their goals, which is more durable.
Yep.
Thinner.
More resilient.
More resilient, thinner, and as a result, also the med kit being more accessible is a big deal. Yeah. Oh, and you have elastic cummerbund.
Yeah, that's interchangeable. I can take the elastic off and I can replace it with a Molly fixed set.
I would say the elastic thing's really neat though, because this one,
like it.
Traditional cummerbunds, you adjust the length of the cummerbund as it goes around whatever junk you have on via the back. So you can't see this right now, but in the rear, there's like, if I were to take this all off, there's a bunch of straps in here, and then you adjust the overall length of the cummerbund back here. But once you've adjusted it, that's the length of the cummerbund.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. With your elastic, you could actually make it a little shorter on purpose, and then use the elasticity to actually get it nice and tight, but not uncomfortable, which then also, again, reduces the shimmy and shift of weight as you're moving.
Exactly. It's self-adjusting.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, elastic will wear out eventually, so you probably want to have extra cummerbunds.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit where they probably went on the side of a little bit reduction of durability, but an improvement of overall stability.
Yeah, and like I said, they have both options for this.
So now these are not on the market yet.
No, but I think they will be fairly shortly.
We'll let you know when they are coming out. So this is the Varsta version of the M13. This is the Varsta Dog, now Belgian. It's spelled S-I-O-E-N. You know how to pronounce that?
No, God no, it's Finnish.
No. Sion, it's Belgian. Sion or something. It's a Belgian company now. I don't know, S-I-O-E-N. I'll put a link in the description below to this particular M13 variant. With the exception of having to take the backpack on or off, I am very happy with this kit.
It's very slick.
Yep. Yeah. And the concerns about the zippers have been not huge, but there was guys that just, it was like, that really wasn't a problem, but I don't like it. Yeah. Kind of thing. I will find out. If I break a zipper, I'll let you know. Yeah. But so far I haven't. So, you're going to see this at Hardest Hell 2-Gun. You're going to see yours probably at a bunch of 2-Gun action challenge matches.
Yep.
And maybe
this will replace the cardboard vest that I've been using.
Boy, people really had a hard time with the aesthetics of your other armor load-bearing vest.
My previous vest was completely slick and low profile. It was just front and rear pouches, and I was using AR-500 style. I don't remember the exact.
You had kind of,
They're just steel plates. They're basically rifle targets that you wear on your body.
With rhino snot on it.
Yeah, rhino liner. And that was fine, but these are better. This is lighter. It's better contoured. It's much better armor. The plain steel plates, I don't know that well, you did the testing on those things. You really kind of want to have Kevlar on.
You know what? They worked, but they were not optimal. Yeah. First of all, there's a weight hit. AR-500 armor plates, even with the rhino liner, there's a weight hit. Oddly, when we hit it with 545, there was instant spalling problems, where the spalling went up into the neck area.
That's a problem.
Well, spalling is a huge risk. Ceramic plates, especially polymer-lined ceramic plates, do not have that because they absorb the round in a different way. They don't just stop the round onto a big piece of metal. They actually kind of absorb the blow, and the ceramic partially disintegrates along with the round, which reduces your spalling risk dramatically, as well as a huge weight reduction. Yeah. Armor is improving a lot over the years. Yeah. We're starting to see lighter and lighter level 4 plates.
So if you're a guy who just wants armor because it's a requirement for competition, that AR-500 stuff, it's the cheapest thing out there, and it works just fine because you're not actually counting on it to be armor. If you're someone who is actually putting themselves in harm's way on a regular basis, and that's why you're wearing armor, you want something more like this stuff.
You would be probably well advised to wait a little longer and buy better plates. AR500 is absolutely, we proved this. It was way better than nothing. I mean,
Oh yeah.
if the
Bullets
choice
don't
was,
go through it.
do you want armor or not have armor? If that's the choice, and it's AR500, oh, I'll take the AR500 any day. I'm not.
Right.
It was not a, oh, this is worthless proposition. It's just that if you are really buying armor to truly protect yourself in the event of intentionally or accidentally being shot, you're better off waiting a little longer and buying a little bit more expensive ceramic or polymer or some of the more modern cool guy stuff. Yeah. But all that said, the load-bearing vest, whether you put AR500 in it or ceramic plates or Twizzler vines in it, the load-bearing vest matters a lot in terms of your ability to keep moving dynamically without interrupting your ability to perform.
Yep.
And even with something as cool guy as this or as this, if you're going to be good in it, you have to use it.
You have to practice it.
You put it on, and it does absolutely affect the way you move, the way you shoulder your rifle, and the way you function.
What does Fagan do? He runs on his treadmill every day in his armor.
He actually does. I'm not going to do that. But the length of pull thing, what it does affect is your ability and the way you move. Like getting up in and out of prone, crawling under stuff. Having body awareness with your armor on matters.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to do what we say about everything else, which is train and practice with it.
Damn. I can't just buy it?
You could just buy it and put it on and then have a worse score.
There we go.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. Anyways, guys, it wasn't meant to be like the deepest dive on this, but I wanted to give you an update on the armor that I'm using and now the update on what they're doing. And it's pretty compelling stuff, and you're going to see a lot more of this on the channel as we use this stuff on the clock. If you like this kind of stuff, please consider supporting us on Patreon, because guess what? I bought this. You bought that. These were not freebies. We paid for this, so this is not some shilling event. This is us actually just talking about stuff we bought for our own personal use, and it's guys like you that allow us to be able to do that, and then eventually give you a review on not only this modernized M13, but the new Varas Stelica plates, or excuse me, load-bearing vest as well, and many other myriad of things, as well as we give stuff away too.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, every month.
Something cool.
Thanks guys for watching. Stay tuned, subscribe, and share, more importantly.